Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's B Militant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host here on the Redskins review. And as you guys saw in the first clip there's going to be a live stream. I'm going to do a live stream, my first time on YouTube. I've done live streams on Twitch and other platforms, but I've never done one on YouTube, so I'll have to brush up on that and figure out how to do it. I guess it's going to be, pretty straightforward. But I'm going to do a live stream here on the Redskins review this Thursday at 8 p.m. So that's the first. This Thursday, 8 p.m. Be there. I don't know how long I'm going to go. I think we could probably sit here and talk for a long time. I think live stream's something that I haven't done, and I think it'll be much easier for us to have a back and forth dialogue about the Redskins. You guys can ask questions, I can answer. It gives me things to do. It gives me content to make. So we're going to do that. And in today's video, this is something that I put together seriously within the last 20 minutes. I put together a list on my phone, a straight list on how to improve the Redskins team this offseason. And I did it in 20 minutes, all right? So right now what we're going to do, I'm going to go through this list of how the Redskins can improve the football team, in this offseason. It's not really talking about what already happened with the Alex Smith thing, with all these, with the people we signed. We re-signed Mason Foster and everything. It's going to be all the unknowns. It's going to be free agency. It's going to be the draft. So let's get into it. I'm also not going to make this a very long video, just because we can talk about this on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be live here on this YouTube channel, and we can, if you have any disagreements with me or whatever, bring all that to the live stream. We'll go more in depth then. But this is my list that I put together within 20 minutes just on my phone of how the Redskins can improve this offseason. It's really not that hard. It really is just not that hard, all right? So, do you know what the number one thing on the list is? Obviously, to a lot of people, fire Bruce Allen. Fire Bruce Allen or get a real GM. We cannot, no matter what, it doesn't matter what else I have on this list. It's not going to work if Bruce Allen is around. Bruce Allen is not going to evaluate talent. He's not going to put this team in the right position it needs to be to win in the NFC East, which is a pretty competitive division. It's going to be hard for us to actually get somewhere with Bruce Allen sitting here being the president and being the GM, and we can't do that. We cannot do that. We cannot go forward thinking that Bruce Allen is going to fix this football team. All right. We'll see what happens with Alex Smith. Also, one little thing I want to throw in there, which something I'm sure we'll talk about in the live stream, is, do you know how many Redskins fans this season said, or when everyone found out, before we get into the list, with the Bruce Allen thing, number one reason why Bruce Allen needs to be fired, the Kirk Cousins situation, all right? All these Redskins fans, I've seen a lot of Redskins fans, it's actually depressing how many Redskins fans are happy to see Kirk Cousins go. I see comments all the time on Facebook, oh, whatever, the dude didn't want to be here, let him go, we'll go find somebody else or whatever. If he wants to be too greedy and get money or this or that, let Kirk Cousins go, da-da-da-da-da-da. Man, and the thing is, I see people say, oh, Kirk Cousins isn't going to get us over the hump anyway. He's just too average. He's not going to get us to where we need to be. He's not going to be, Aaron Rodgers or someone who's going to get us to a Super Bowl or whatever. Do you realize Nick Foles just won a Super Bowl? Do you think Kirk Cousins cannot win a Super Bowl? Seriously. We just watched Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. And you still think that Kirk Cousins cannot get us there and win a Super Bowl? I mean, okay, my point is, Bruce Allen screwed that up. Now we have Alex Smith. We're moving on from here. But Bruce Allen, and I don't care if this was even something that Scott McCloughan did, even if Scott McCloughan is one of the reasons why Kirk Cousins didn't get signed here. Bruce Allen is the president. He's the face of the the top of echelon of the guys that we got working here in Washington. So it all falls on him. If the team loses, everything falls on the quarterback's shoulders. If Scott McCloughan didn't work out, if you didn't get Kirk Cousins signed, that's on you, bro. That's number one. Should be fired for just that one situation. The best quarterback we've had in over 20-some years. You screw it up. Sorry, bro. You're gone. So number one, fire Bruce Allen, or bring in someone to be a general manager, and still Bruce Allen's going to find some way to screw that up. So now let's get into who we need to re-sign on the offseason. Number one, and this is going to be somewhat in order, all right, from most important to least important. Number one, Zach Brown. Now, the more in the offseason it's getting, the more I realize that this is going to be all about the money with Zach Brown. It's a no-brainer for any Redskins fan to want Zach Brown back, but he wanted to get a lot of money the year before, and he didn't get the money. So then the Redskins said, "Hey, we'll give you this money," and then now he's done it again, kind of like the whole Kirk Cousins thing. How Kirk Cousins kept betting on himself and making more money. Zach Brown's done it over and over now. Other teams are going to be interested. What money are they going to offer Zach Brown that we can't match? That's what's going to come down to. So, if the money's correct, if we can get him back without breaking the bank, Zach Brown, number one priority. We need to build that defense, and Zach Brown is phenomenal. Haven't seen somebody play like him in a long time. Number two, we just got rid of Kendall Fuller. Bashar Breeland better come back. If we lose Kendall Fuller and Bashar Breeland, and we're gonna sit here and expect the rookies to come up here and play. I like Fabian Moreau. He had a really strong beginning of the season last year playing special teams, and he looked like a beast, but that kind of tapered off, and we didn't really get to see much of him on the football field playing corner. So, yet again, we can't go into the season sitting here thinking Josh Doxson's going to be the guy. All of a sudden, Josh Doxson's going to figure it out. We can't come into the season thinking, oh, Fabian Moreau's going to be the dude. He's just going to show up and be. We can't just put all of our eggs into a basket like that. So Bashar Breeland, number two on the list, needs to come back. Defense needs to improve. Bashar Breeland, I'm sorry if you don't think so, but he's better than average, all right? And for a corner in the NFL, better than average is pretty damn good. It's hard to find. He's good. He's good versus the run a lot of the times. He's physical. He's confident. Anytime that he does give up a big play, everyone wants to remember, oh, Antonio Brown murdered him in the Pittsburgh game 2 years ago or whatever. And sure, yeah, one, it's Antonio Brown. Two, if you watch the tape, Bashar Breeland, he's right there. Like, it's not like he got destroyed. Like, he's in the best position he can be in. Like, what I'm saying is there's going to be a lot of other corners that you'll find out. If you want to roll the dice over and over and let Bashar Breeland walk and just think someone's going to, we're going to find somebody else to do the job, you're rolling the dice a little too hard. That's what I'm saying. Bashar Breeland better come back. Next on the list is Ryan Grant. Ryan Grant is a must. Yet again, this is Ryan Grant is like a safety blanket. With the whole experiments that we have going on in the wide receiver realm, Kirk Cousins, he found Ryan Grant a lot because he believed in Ryan Grant. Ryan Grant was going to do the right thing. Ryan Grant was going to catch the football when other people aren't catching the football. Ryan Grant, I don't think it's going to cost us a lot of money, and we need him back. We need a safety blanket. We need to know that we have some core wide receivers for Alex Smith. Yes, we'll get into the draft needs later, but Ryan Grant, I think, is a must. Next on the list, Spencer Long. It's just a guy who knows our system. We need the offensive line to stay intact as much as we can. I think Spencer Long can. He's been at center. He's been at left guard. Both of those positions we need to make sure are locked down. I think Spencer Long. I don't think yet again another guy. I don't think is going to command a ton of money. So I think that's another no-brainer. Next on the list is Ty Nsekhe. I was really high on Ty Nsekhe. He got injured last year and wasn't available when we needed him. I thought, if you go back to my videos before last season, I said I think the most important re-signing on last season's offseason was Ty Secchi, because I thought our offensive line for the past couple years before that, we took it for granted how well they were and how they didn't get they didn't get injured and things like that, which we saw a lot of injuries this year. But my prediction was that Ty Secchi was going to come in last year and play really well, and it was, like, proved to be one of the best signings that we had last offseason. And he was hurt and didn't get to come in when we needed him at the beginning, but he did come in and play at certain points. So when Ty Secchi is there, I think he's really good, and the money's got to be right again. There's going to be other teams looking at Ty Secchi. He did, like I said, he did go through an injury or whatever. We need to take that into consideration. But if the money's right, we need to improve our offensive and defensive lines, and I think Ty Secchi improves the offensive line a lot. And then on the last of the re-signs for me, Trent Murphy, question mark. Trent Murphy tore his ACL, but when he played for us, he was our best pass rusher. But this is why it's a question mark. He tore his ACL, and who knows what money he's going to want. If it's a friendly deal, we can get it done. But if Trent Murphy, who got suspended for a certain amount of games for taking PEDs, if Trent Murphy, who tore his ACL, isn't going to come back the same, the money's really got to be right, man. That's 2 strikes for me, man. So I would love to have Trent Murphy back from 2 years ago. Trent Murphy, I wish he would be back, and we wouldn't be talking about injury. We wouldn't be talking about the PED thing. I don't really care so much about the PED thing as the injury, because is he going to be the same? But that's the last of the re-signs on my list, and it's Trent Murphy, question mark. Don't know what you guys... I think most Redskins fans are kind of pro Trent Murphy. Like, you would like to see him come back. But I don't know. We'll see. So, now on the non-re-signs, some of the biggest things to save money and things like that. Will Compton, Junior Galette, they got to walk, man. They got to walk. I don't know how much money they're going to be commanding. I love Will Compton. I think... you really got to see his leadership role on the football field, and you remember the video of Will Compton talking to Sua Cravens and, kind of just handled that whole situation right, in my opinion, and was kind of like a mentor type of, just a leader on the defense. But for skills-wise, I've seen people step up and do the same thing Will Compton's done. Guys who are not going to be asking for any money because they're probably already on contracts. Also, it's going to be a position that I want to draft in a draft. So I just got to say sorry, Will Compton. Thank you for all your service. It's not going to go unnoticed, but unless we get some super friendly deal, I just don't see Will Compton coming back. Junior Galette, I've seen a lot of people say, Junior Galette, he had a lot of injuries or whatever. He was coming off the Achilles injuries, and now that he's got a chance to go through the offseason completely intact without any injuries or whatever, he might show up next year or whatever. And I just think it's going to be too much money. I'd rather save that money. I'd rather, yet again, it's another position I want to draft. I would rather go younger in this situation. The guy's got injury history. He hasn't been the same. I can remember only a few plays last year seeing him do something not very impactful. I was really hopeful for the guy, but I'd say on the Junior Galette situation, I know a lot of you guys are not going to agree with me on this, but I think Junior Galette's a guy that we should let walk. Now, on to the next. Something that I've seen a ton, and this has been driving me insane. Rich Tandler is a Redskins analyst or whatever. He reports on the Redskins, and he puts articles out all the time on Facebook, and he says, by looking at the stats and like all these techniques or whatever, the Redskins defensive line had the most pressure, or like the second most pressure on quarterbacks in the NFL last year, and Preston Smith is one of the biggest reasons why. And Preston Smith is going to get paid a lot of money when he gets to the end of his contract. I think this is his 3rd year, so he's going into a contract year next year. And Rich Taylor is saying that we should pay him, we should get him a contract before he goes and is a free agent or whatever. And Preston Smith has not done a goddamn thing to deserve a contract or be in contract talks right now. So Preston Smith gets to play another year, and we get to see how he plays this year, and then maybe we'll talk contracts or whatever. But I don't want to hear any talk about Preston Smith and his future with the Redskins and what money he's going to get, what contract we're going to give him. I think Preston Smith is so average that it's actually impressive. He is so average, and yet we have people like Rich Taylor making all these posts on Facebook. Preston Smith is the whatever best in the NFL at pass rush or whatever. Well, guess what? All you need to do is use your goddamn eyes, because if you actually were a Redskins fan and you watched Redskins games, you would understand Preston Smith is not impactful. Ryan Kerrigan is slightly above average and consistent constantly. He's a face of the franchise. Those are the reasons why we cannot talk about letting him go. Preston Smith I'm all for talking about letting his ass go, all right? We need pass rush. We need it. Preston Smith is not that. He is not getting the quarterback. I don't care what Rich Taylor wants to say. I don't care what little statistics he's going to come up with or heat maps or whatever bullshit he's going to talk about. Preston Smith is super average, and pass rusher is not something we can sit here and consistently just watch someone be average at. All right, we need to get the goddamn quarterback. We need to bolster the defensive line. And if I hear one more article about how Preston Smith's going to get paid and he was whatever ranked highest pass rusher in the NFL, no, he was not. Use your damn eyes. Any Redskins fans will tell you he might have 3 games at the beginning of the season and then 3 games at the end of the season where he does good. He had 2 interceptions at the end of the season. Like, this is the most Redskins thing ever, is at the end of the season, Preston Smith has like 2 interceptions. Oh, we better start talking about re-signing him. Except for the entire middle of the season, the bulk of the season, he did not a goddamn thing. This is the Redskins to a T. They do that type of shit where they're like, oh, this guy, he's fresh in our memory. We're going to pay him money now, keep him around for a long time, even though he's not producing. So I don't want to hear Preston Smith at all. If they're talking anything contracts, they better not be talking about it. We got to let D'Angelo Hall walk, man. I was all for keeping D'Angelo Hall this season, but it's just getting time, man. Nothing against D'Angelo Hall. I love D'Angelo Hall, but we got some young safeties. That's another position we might want to take a look at later in the draft, maybe. But I'll get to that later. There's an exception to the rule here that I just told you. But so yeah, D'Angelo Hall. Don't know what money he's got or what he wants or whatever, but it's just time, dude. Nothing personal. Sean Laval, I'm ready to let him walk. We'll get to the draft needs here in a second. But Sean Laval, too inconsistent, gets hurt too often. We need to bolster the offensive line. He's the weakest link. So goodbye, Sean Laval. Now let's get into the draft. You guys already heard my prediction. Well, what I want in the draft, all right? We have the 13th pick in the draft in the first round. And with the 13th pick, I understand and I get it and I like the concept. Draft the best player available in the draft. I like to do that. That's a cool thing to do. But when we are 32nd in the league at stopping the run, that has to be addressed. We cannot go on without being serious and addressing that need. We were 32nd, dead last, at stopping the run. So, at 13 overall, there's two options. There's straight up two options. We can either draft Vita Vea or we can draft Deron Payne in the first round. And those are the two options that make sense. And if we do anything else, one exception to the rule that I'll get to in a second, if we do anything else besides draft Deron Payne or Vita Vea at 13 overall, and I don't give a damn that it's 13th overall. We drafted our his name is escaping me, obviously, Brandon Sheriff. We drafted Brandon Sheriff with the 5th overall pick. Was that a popular pick? Was that a sexy pick? No, it was an essential pick. We needed it, and it turned out to be a damn good pick, didn't it? And everyone at the time, oh, he moved inside to guard, and that's a wasted pick. You don't want to draft a guard in the first round. You only draft tackles I don't give a damn, dude. That shit has been working out. I love Brandon Sheriff. This is going to be another pick that hopefully works out. It's a need, and like I said, I am all down for getting the best player available. I think that is the best strategy to build a dominant team. But when you're 32nd at something, that's a glaring need. You cannot put it off anymore. That is a need. So Vita Vea or Deron Payne are the only options that make sense at 13. And I don't care that it's at 13. If you know the Cardinals or someone behind us needs a quarterback and they want to move up to get a quarterback, I'm okay. Maybe we can move down a couple slots if both guys are still available. I'm cool with trading back, but Vita Vea, Deron Payne in the first round, one of those two guys, I'll be happy. Anybody except for those two guys or some other position, I will be upset. But there is one exception to the rule. And if the Redskins take the safety Derwin James with the 13th overall pick, that's the only exception to the rule where I will not be upset. That dude is a beast. And I think if we shore up the safety spot with DJ Swearinger, Monte Nicholson, Derwin James, and Sua Craven's coming back, I feel like we really just shored up the safety spot. And that's another thing. How long, before DJ Swearinger got here and we saw Monte Nicholson play pretty decently, it's been a long time where we haven't had safety play. And so if Derwin James is the only exception to my rule of Deron Payne or Vita Vea at 13 overall, I think if he comes in here, that really shores up the safety spot for us. And I think with Derwin James and Monte Nicholson, that gives DJ Swearinger the ability to go down and play the line of scrimmage more. And I really think that just is a game changer. So, like I said, I do have my own exception to the rule, but Vita Vea or Deron Payne, anybody else but them, I am going to flip out. Those are, obviously, unless they're all taken or whatever, then who knows? It's going to be a crapshoot. I don't know. But if those guys are available at the 13th overall pick and none of them are selected, I will flip out, all right? So back to if we draft, I guess even if we do or we don't, if we draft Vita Vea or Deron Payne, I think it's smart to bring back Phil Taylor just for competition, because maybe Phil Taylor, if we draft Vita Vea or Deron Payne, Phil Taylor's probably not going to make the team unless he really just show the coaches love him or something like that. But I think bringing back Phil Taylor just for competition, for preseason, or maybe he makes his way onto the football team, pretty unlikely. And I understand you don't want to bring people, you don't want to just be bringing people in, without a chance of them making it. But we need competition as well. We don't just need a defensive tackle. We need competition at the position, all right? We need to get our shit serious. We need to get serious about building a defensive line. Next thing, we need to start thinking about restructuring Josh Norman's contract. This is going to be something that is going to have to be talked about throughout this year, or at the least let see how Josh plays this year, and then get dead serious about restructuring it. But that needs to happen. Josh Norman's been slightly underperforming, but I think that, he also had the rib injury, and after he had the rib injury, he didn't come back the same. Like, I completely understand, but I mean, the Josh Norman that we watched in Carolina, we saw this man catching interceptions, running back for pick sixes, and now he can't catch a football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love what he brings to the football team. I love the leadership. I love the smarts. Like, you know how Scott McLuhan always says, "Oh, we're gonna get a football player. This guy's a football player." Josh Norman is the definition of a football player. That's who he is. He is a football player. If Scott McLuhan was ever talking about a football player, this or that, Josh Norman is to the exact T of what Scott McLuhan's talking about as a football player. He loves the game. He loves the history. He's competitive. He tries to outsmart people all the time because he can. So let's go into now we're gonna get into needs of the draft. Needs of the draft. Number one. Oh, hold on. I actually forgot something. I forgot something. Before we get into the needs of the draft, I forgot something. Okay, so this is a big one. I'm glad I remembered this. The one trade that we need to do this offseason. I don't want to do lots of trades. I don't want to sign a lot of free agents. I don't want to do a lot of that stuff. But there's one trade that we need to do. And this is a need, all right? Need to do this. The Redskins need to trade the Pittsburgh Steelers for Martavis Bryant. Martavis Bryant, in my opinion, is the best wide receiver that could be available. Martavis Bryant and the Pittsburgh Steelers don't get along. They don't see eye to eye, all right? And he only really saw the field when Juju Smith-Schuster or whatever, their new rookie guy, wide receiver, he got hurt or whatever, and then Martavis Bryant stepped in at times and looks just how Martavis Bryant's always looked, all right? Martavis Bryant is very skilled, and I know there's some people out there who overlook him, but he is very skilled, and I really like Martavis Bryant. I understand he might have some character issues. I understand that he might not be the best off the field, but damn it, we need a number one wide receiver. We cannot go into the offseason and into next season thinking that, yet again, doing the same mistake that we did. Oh, Josh Doxson's he's gonna be the guy. He's gonna just show up all of a sudden and be the guy that we thought he was gonna be when we drafted him. He's not been that guy yet. Like, I'm not trying to give up on him, but we cannot. It's a mistake to think that Josh Doxson's going to be our number one wide receiver when he hasn't shown up yet, all right? We cannot just gamble like that into next season and think that that's what's going to happen. So, we need a number one wide receiver. Martavis Bryant, I think, would be happy to come into somewhere and know that he's the number one guy. He could do what we thought. Man, it's been a while. I'm forgetting all these people's names. The wide receiver that we got from the Browns last year, Martavis Bryant's going to come in and do what we thought he was going to do, and I believe he's a real wide receiver. I've seen him do it time and time again. He's tall, he's fast, he's athletic. He can go up and get the football. He has a fire behind him. I like Martavis Bryant. I think he's the best guy that could be available. Dante Moncrief is another guy, possibly, but we need a number one wide receiver, and that is, if we're going to do any trades, obviously I don't like the trade that we've already done, and I don't want to keep doing trades, and I don't want to keep getting all these free agents. I don't even want to go down that route. But we need a number one wide receiver. Martavis Bryant, I think, makes sense. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers and them don't see eye to eye. Now, I think the Steelers are smart, and they would try to get the most for him. So, I don't know the logistics of what it would take to get him, but I just think that would be a game changer. We need that number one wide receiver. So now I got that out of the way. Needs their draft. This is, say we got this is going to be in order, as in everything I just went down the list we did. All right, so letting people go, re-signing people, trading for Martavis Bryant or whatever. This is what I would do. All right, this is how I would change a damn team around on this offseason and improve the football team. So now we went through all of that. Say we got Martavis Bryant. Say we drafted Vita Vea at 13. Now the rest of the needs in order. Running back. What running back? I don't know. I don't know I don't know the class like that. I don't watch college football like that. So I'm just telling you the needs, however order they get drafted in. I don't know. As long as we draft them, as long as we address the positions that I'm telling you in order of need. Number one, after we draft Vita Vea at 13, number one priority, running back. Number two, pass rusher. We need to replace Preston Smith, or at least think about the future. Number three, middle linebacker. That could be replaced or up or down the list, seeing what happens with Zach Brown. All right. We have Mason Foster, but regardless, we need someone to pair up with Mason Foster, and I don't think we have anyone on the roster that's going to pair up with him to the needs that we need. So middle linebacker is up there. Next on the list, left guard, and then wide receiver. And then whatever other picks we have fun, bro. You can do whatever you want with those other picks. Do whatever you wish. Maybe a blocking tight end. Jeremy Sprinkle, we didn't get to see a ton of him. He's a big guy. I mean, I think when he was in there, he did decent. But we need a Logan Paulson. Remember that guy? Blocking tight end. Could catch. Decent. But blocking tight end, we need one of those. We need to think about Niles Paul's been having a lot of injuries. He's getting up there in age. We need to start thinking about replacing some people. So those other picks do that with. But that's the needs that we have. Now this video is getting kind of long. Let me know what you think in the comments. Save what if you don't want to write a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know what you guys think. Bring it to the live stream. Excuse me. Bring it to the live stream this Thursday. Excuse me. This Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Forgive me if I have some type of fault. This is going to be my first time live streaming on YouTube. I've done it plenty of other times on other platforms, but YouTube is a different animal. So, yeah, I'll see you guys then, and either let me know in the comments what you think about what I would do on the off season, and also let me know what you would do, or just bring it to the live stream. So I'll see you guys then, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Peace.